we lead the pack in that as well. So Black women are leading in getting the most degrees, getting the most certificates, education, and Black women are leading in starting businesses.
Welcome to Wine and Liberations, the podcast that uncorks the world of fine wines and explores the art of living a liberated life. I am your host, affectionately known as Dee. I am a wife, mother, business owner, and I am thrilled to be one of your guides on this captivating journey.
And I am your other host, the Professor Bae. I am a mother, college professor, writer, and creator. Grab your wine, relax, be yourself, catch a vibe, and let us guide you as you get liberated. Welcome. Episode 2.
Episode 2. Cheers. Super cute nails. I just got my nails done too.
They are cute.
Don't it make you feel like a whole new woman when you get your nails done?
Absolutely.
That's it when they're done. I'm like, what you say?
Non-negotiable. The non-negotiable. So happy August.
I can't believe it's already August. Like July has been the fastest month, I feel like, this whole summer. Right. I'm happy because it's back to school and my kids need to go back, get out of my house, but it went way too fast. Like now it's back to the routine. I don't know if I'm ready for the routine.
Yeah. So back to school, August is officially back to school for the kiddos, for the educators.
Yes.
So shout out to all of the educators that are going back to the classrooms and preparing to educate the future and educate adults that are learning, and they just don't get enough credit. And I am one of them myself, but I like to say that we truly appreciate all of the educators out there.
We do. I'm praying much sanity and mental stability over y'all over this year. I know in Texas, the way the laws have changed have truly impacted education on just what the teacher's scope now is. So I'm definitely praying for the teachers who continue to fight through the fights as it's ever changing. So many prayers.
Yes, the Texas teacher sector is all over. I've been seeing lots of news articles about the state going in and taking over some of the school districts to, I guess, change the schools around or something of that nature.
So that part is tricky because the school system that was taken over was the Houston ISD. And let's say at minimum, it's 100 plus schools in that district. So for them to say that it was some educational concerns is truly unfair because how big this district is, there's just no way you truly got a fair reading of what's going on. But recently in that same takeover, now they are getting rid of libraries and turning them into detention centers.
I saw that for discipline.
So the pipeline to prison just continues in Houston. It just goes to show you, obviously, it's something in these books that we need. Because why do you continue to ban these books? Why do you continue to remove these books from our grasp? Why do you continue to take these books out of our resources? So I just want to, put everybody antennas up. It's something in these books that they're hiding. It's a bigger thing about the educational aspect of this written education that we should just be a little more concerned about.
I agree. It's not just Houston. It's all over. Florida has been all over the news with changing the history curriculum and removing Black history from the curriculum, banning the books that talk about Black history. So it's not just Houston. There are issues in Florida as well.
You're right, because I just find in Florida that you benefited from slavery.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if you did, but I just learned that we benefited from slavery. So, I want to think about that right.
So if we benefited, why is it not something that can be talked about in the curriculum? That doesn't make any sense.
Thank you.
That doesn't make
I,
sense.
I just feel like if we benefited, then it's so many more questions to have. Why are we always? And I understand. A couple of years back, statistic wise, we no longer became the minority. Like
Yes.
yes. So I get it. It's a couple of factors behind it, but we lead, and it is some other populations as well, but it's a lot of us that are leading in the lower socioeconomic class. So if we benefited, then why are we in these situations that we're in? If you did you see they cloned Tyrone?
Yes.
So that speaks to it. You have these characters in each ghetto or each area.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we benefit?
Yes.
I see a lot of generational curses.
Yes. Absolutely. And when you speak about generations, even taking it a step further, you and I are a product of a historically Black college and university. And if we're continuing with the theme about education and in the news, the overturning of affirmative action and all that is going to affect people of color, Black people, and other minorities. So we're products of HBCUs, and it's almost as if things are being shifted to where we are going to be separated again. Segregation is that the route or the way that we are headed is that are we? Which I've always said that you send your Black children to historically Black colleges and universities. I am all for it. So what is that?
This is probably not a popular opinion. If we are headed back towards segregation, I'm kind of out for it because we did better when we were amongst ourselves. We thrived better. We taught each other what needed to be taught. There were things that were spoken about in life lessons that are not in this curricula and state tests. I'm all for it. I am all for it.
I am too.
Because then we are in control of the history, and our history did not start at slavery. And your kings, queens, empress, empires, like architects, medicine doctors, witch doctors.
Yes.
We are like a mass of a compass. So go for it. Keep going, Florida. Texas can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how things shift in terms of education. And this podcast is all about Black women, Black cultural women, and valuing education and learning new skills. And that school is not just for children. We have Black women that will be returning, that are working on degrees and certifications and learning new trades and learning new skills. And so it's definitely something to consider as we are on this journey. And I feel like as Black women, we never stop in terms of education. Never. We're always learning something new. And for us, I feel like we feel as though we can't get enough education. There's never too much education. And when we want to learn something, we go above and beyond. I know for me, it's okay if this is a skill that I am inquiring about, it's something that I want to be certified in. That's just my thought process. Because if we're speaking from a professional setting or professional mindset, I'm always like, well, if I'm certified, then they know that I know what I'm doing. So that's just my viewpoint. What's your thoughts about that?
It's the same thing. Because I do certified as yoga. So in the midst of me practicing yoga, I'm like, how can I get certified in yoga? I do the same thing. I'm like, I was diagnosed with celiac about 10 years ago now. And so I started doing a lot of healing through remedies and different concoctions and different herbs. And then I was like, well, what can I do with this? Can I be an herbalist? Can I start from this? I do the same thing. How can I turn my current passion or something that is now a niche for me into something that it's come through as passive income.
Yes.
I think that's why I probably have all them single letters behind my name.
Yes.
That's why I have my hands in multiple pots.
Yes.
And I'm like you, just teach me it.
Mm-hmm.
Teach me this, and I got it.
Uh-huh.
I'll go from there. Just teach me the basics.
Yeah. And we know, studies
Mhm.
show there are plenty of think pieces out there. There are plenty articles that are written to how Black women experience things at work in terms of career, in terms of pay, in terms of equality and equity. And so we deem it necessary for us to be certified and go above and beyond. We always have to go above and beyond.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And understanding. I think a part of it too is understanding that there are those barriers out there. And so if we are highly educated, we are able to get around some of those barriers.
It comes from just the generational gap that it's been. We're trying to figure out, like, we've been so far behind for so
Mm-hmm.
long. Playing catch up is basically through my resume. Like, I use my resume as a draw for every time.
Yeah.
I deserve my seat at this table. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm certified in more than one topic that we're talking about at this table.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I make sure every time I pull up to a table, I earn my seat.
Yeah.
Like you will never be able to take the table away from me because I brought the table, because I earned my seat at this table.
And the chairs and everything else at the
Okay.
table.
And I'm bringing 2 candles. Okay. Because I got them on sale as well.
Yes. 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 So yeah. And speaking of Black women, it is National Black Business Owners Month. August is Black Business Owners. So yeah.
I love that.
We lead the pack in that as well. So Black women are
Okay.
leading in getting the most degrees, getting the most certificates, education, and Black women are leading in opening and starting businesses.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So what, because we just talked about it kind of, what have you find is kind of your niche that you personally have turned into residual income?
Writing. I've always been a writer. And initially, education. So I started, my very first business was a tutoring business because I'm an educator. And so I realized that there are lots of students that could use my services, particularly in our neighborhoods and these lower economic neighborhoods. And so that's how I started my first business. I was tutoring in reading, writing, and English. And so that's how I officially started. And then it kind of went from there. I'm an English teacher on the college level, so I know the ins and outs of writing. And so I started to write. I do a lot of ghostwriting projects. I write for myself. And so I learned to turn those two things that I'm good at into other ways of making income. So that was my first business, tutoring.
Nice. So that, I think I knew you had the tutor business, but I didn't know how it kind of came to fruition. That totally makes sense because it's already aligned with your path and walking in your path.
Yes. And I noticed too, I noticed too, sometimes in the classroom, teachers don't have enough time to give those students that individualized attention. And reading and ELA are subjects that are highly focused on in the school system. Reading and ELA determine funding, they determine school grades, they determine a lot of things for public schools. And so when those students have to take those assessments at the end of the year, all of that matters. And so I saw that there was definitely a need for that. And so that's kind of how I started my very first business. I was able to put the education piece together and create an income stream, something that I love to do. And then I turned that, again, took it even further, started writing, penning as an author, ghost writing, writing all different genres. Whatever you need written, I can write it. So, yeah.
But cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Thank you.
I'm like, okay, so are you still currently doing your tutoring? If not, what businesses are our viewers able to contact you about?
Okay, I'm not currently tutoring because it actually got so big that it got overwhelming and I'm busy and then COVID hit. I was
Mhm.
booming before COVID and then I went virtual with it, but then I realized that I can venture into other areas. So I stopped tutoring and currently I'm just tackling different ghostwriting projects, and offering writing consultations and things of that nature. So that's where I am on the entrepreneur. Thank you.
So proud of you, sis.
Thank you.
That's amazing. It's like when you hear somebody else's story of how they got to where they are. I'm like, so many more of us just deserve our flowers
Mhm.
because it comes so natural. Or you just go through the process that you don't even take time to look back and say, "Oh, I did that." Like I
Mhm.
did that. It's just well, what else do you expect? Like, and I think in a lot of our minds, that's the bare minimum. That's the least we could do to encourage our path. So
Yes.
flowers to you.
Thank
That is
you.
amazing.
Thank you. How did you get on your entrepreneur journey?
Oh, that is such a good question. I was diagnosed with celiac disease almost 10 years ago,
Mhm.
and only 2% of African Americans even have this disease. So
Mhm.
in another topic, we'll talk about how to properly fight and advocate for yourself when you know there's something wrong with your body and they're not listening to you. Um, so in the midst of battling my diagnosis, I had to figure out what was going on. So I had to change my diet.
Mhm.
And so it started with what I was ingesting.
Okay.
And so I started learning about different herbs and herbs, whatever we'll call it,
Uh-huh.
that could mimic various things in the body. So, for example, peppermint tea
Mhm.
mimic aspirin in the body. So
Okay.
your aches and pains, drinking peppermint tea is the same thing of taking medicine. And a lot of the medicines that we're taking are either processed through our liver and our kidney, but you only get so many. So it's like, how do you limit and heal your body at the same time?
So,
And so then I started compiling teas for myself when I was feeling bloated, constipated. I was having aches, pains. I even created a tea for fibroids because I even dealt with some fibroids at one point in time. And so I realized people were coming to me asking me, like, well, what are you drinking?
mhm.
And so I ended up developing tea with Gwen. Gwen is actually my grandmother's name. Tea is our thing. We just always sit down with a cup of tea. And so it just kind of aligned perfectly in order to heal and offer different avenues for people as they go through their health journeys on top of something that kind of memorized my grandmother at the same time. So
That is
it's been
amazing.
doing well. I do realize I get more custom offers than the teas that I already have as staples.
Mhm.
And I love that because everybody has different health elements that they need to deal with. So I've been doing my thing with custom blends for since COVID.
Okay.
Since
Okay.
COVID. Yeah.
I think that's amazing. You have that a la carte service. So whatever I need, I can ask and she can put it together for me to take care of whatever is going on in my body. And that is amazing.
Because a lot of people will throw you on medicine.
Mhm.
So, like, I have a tea for like high blood glucose, even like diabetes. I have like a ginger and sour sop to help flush the blood out to remove a lot of toxins.
Mhm.
I offer some black tea. A lot of people who no longer eat meat, one thing about red meat is it filters the toxins out your blood. And when we remove that, we no longer have that filtration system. But black tea mimics red meat in the body. So it'll still filter your blood out. So like a lot of vegans, what's these? A lot of vegans, if you ever met a vegan, you'll see that a lot of them end up gaining weight
Mhm.
rather than dropping. It's because they're not properly filtering out the toxins that are remaining in their body. So although red meat, I agree, is not the best, it does have some properties that help us. So we just have to figure out how to replace that.
Oh, that is amazing. So if someone wanted to order, where can they order your tea?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'm even tagged on my personal TikTok. So it's at Shop Tea with Gwen. You can put me in, and I come up. I'm truly, if you message me about something, even with the fibroids or fertility, a lot of people are reaching out about fertility. I will get it to you.
Okay.
Uh, because that part is important. If you can heal your body, it's more of a soothing piece. So it's a mental element to it.
That is amazing. So make sure you guys shop tea with Gwen.
Yes.
Okay, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. Cheers to that. Cheers to
I
that.
know, I
Feel
know. It's
that.
like you learn so much about somebody when you find out, like, oh, you do something different. Even my husband, he has a handyman company, and
Mhm.
he started that in COVID. He found his niche, and it's like
Mhm.
once you find like something you're good at, Pinky Cole. I'm a big Pinky Cole app and follower, but she says that all the time. Like if you realize it's something you're good at, why do it for free? Turn it into something that is going to help bring additional income, or it's like it becomes a passion at the same time. And who knows? Eventually, it can take over what you're doing because this is just a side thing right now.
Mhm.
But the goal is to see where you can go.
Turn your
So if you all,
credit check.
yep. So my tip to you all, our listeners, if you have something you're hesitating about, do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And if you want to learn a new skill, do it.
Yes.
Oh, August.
Well, what skill you want to learn?
Oh, um, I am really interested now in IT,
Okay.
on the tech side of education. I recently got a project management certification, in education, and I'm putting curriculums together now. So I'm dealing with a lot of IT things, tech things, and so my interests have kind of moved towards like the technical side of education. So I think that's something that I'm interested in learning. And I've also, I mean, I always put, I always buy lots of flowers and make my own flower arrangement. But I've recently gotten more interested in just making different floral arrangements. And so I'm thinking that is something that I want to do and pursue on the side. So those are the two things I'm currently interested in.
I man,
I've
I
always
mean,
loved flowers. I used to pick wildflowers with my grandmother, so I've always been around flowers. But as I mentioned before, when I do something, I always think, "Oh, well, let me get certified in it." Although
yeah,
I can look at, different arrangements and I can pick the colors and I can put it together, I always feel like I need to take it a step further. So those are the two things that I'm interested in right now. What about you? What skills?
it's definitely becoming a yoga instructor.
Okay.
I I would love that. And a part of me now is I'm really big on like outside and grounding in the earth. So I'm trying to navigate or hopefully find my inner true gardener. I would truly love just to hit my backyard and see my own peppers
Mhm.
and bananas. So I am a plant mom. I own about 22 at this point. So they do well.
So
It's just me figuring out the niche for outside. And so learning about like raised gardens and testing soils and when to grow.
mhm.
I'm trying to figure that out. I'm also trying to prepare myself just in case, Armageddon comes and I need to figure out
Yeah.
how
Yes.
to grow these vegetables. So it's like a 2 for 1. Because the way that heat is working out right now, it looks like we're about to be living in a bubble.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think it's yoga and more so gardening. I'm realizing because in healthcare I'm where I want to be. Like
Okay.
I not that I've plateaued, but I've reached my goal. And so right now, at least for the next 5 years, it's more so like learning more and getting certifications that I can, although I don't need no
I don't need
more.
the.
I can. But I'm truly like trying to find like my inner child, like when they
Mhm.
actually just draw pictures and you were drawing like dinosaurs holding
Yes.
like a bouquet of roses. I'm trying to
Yes.
find that person
Yes.
again.
Yes.
So I want that niche to become my like residual income or my like, yeah, this totally happened by accident. Yet here I am talking to Oprah about it type of thing.
Speak it. Speak it. Speak it. That is
Honestly,
amazing. That is amazing, amazing, and amazing. And of course, we'll continue to talk about um Black women in business,
mhm.
Black women in education all throughout the month of August. So what book recommendations do you have? Do you have a
Uh,
book recommendation for us this week?
for August, I have, I had to pull it up. It's called The Condemnation of Blackness.
Okay.
And it speaks about how we got into the mind frames that we are in.
Okay.
And it even speaks about how one time we were in control of Black Wall Street. So it honors Black entrepreneurs as well. And then also what was done for us to kind of lose that drive. So Black combination of Blackness is a true history moment, but it puts into perspective of why we need to get back to being entrepreneurs and what life was when we were entrepreneurs, and how the Black dollar is so powerful when we rotated it amongst ourselves.
Okay.
So I truly believe if you can um, donate to a Black business, if you could do word of mouth for a Black business, if you could even support a Black business, it helps the Black dollar go 10 times further because that's not what they want. They don't want us to circulate our own money. So
Mhm.
that's my soapbox. Continue to circulate that Black dollar.
Good, good. And I have an affirmation. So before we close out, I want to leave our audience with an affirmation. And it is I am driven by passion to fulfill my purpose. I am driven by passion to fulfill my purpose. So take those passions.
I
Yeah, take those passions and really dive deep into them and turn them into something for yourself.
Yes. And then for our YouTube viewers, I just want to say my shirt says easily distracted by plants. By far the best shirt, but you couldn't see it, so I had to show y'all. But I
Uh,
love it. I kind of
yes,
just spoke to myself.
yes, yes. And I am leaving you all with Black Teachers Matter.
They
Happy
do.
August. Yes. Happy August. Happy back to school. Happy Black Business Month. And until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.
See you next time.
All right.
Look at this.